what's up guys, Benny here and welcome to everything that we've learned from the Black Ops Cold War beta that you need to know. This video is going to have every single detail that you won't want to miss out on, so you've got full advantage going into the full release of Cold War. And also, it is time to announce the winner of the Xbox Series X that we've been given the awesome opportunity to give away thanks to Plink, which is an app for you to find new teammates. So if you want some new players to play Warzone with, make sure to go check it out. A big thank you to them. But the winner picked at random is Drebin. A huge congratulations to you to win that Xbox Series X. There is a link to download Plink down in the description if you want to check it out. But let's go check out everything you need to know about Black Ops Cold War. Now, the first thing I want to kick off with in this video is progression. Now, normally I'm not that excited about how progression is going to work in a Call of Duty, but this has tickled my fancy for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is nice to see how it's going to work in game, but it also gives us our very first hint at how progression is going to work both across Cold War, but also Warzone. Now, when you go into progression, you get another menu which has core currently, which means there's probably going to be multiple types of progression within Black Ops Cold War, which could include zombies, multiplayer, Warzone, the battle pass, all that sort of good stuff. But when you go into core, you'll have like what you unlock for every individual rank. So for example, you unlock paranoia at level 8, and if you go all the way to the start, you'll get like different default classes and so on. But what really interested me was in the top left corner for every single unlock is the word Black Ops. Now, that isn't in-game when you unlock it during a match. So what I think is that in the top left corner, if you unlock something that you can then go ahead and use in Warzone, it will have Warzone in that place. So you'll have two different types of progression when the game fully comes out. There's also some really cool stuff in the progression for the beta that wasn't in the alpha, because this completely wasn't in the alpha. They didn't show you any of this. It was all locked, but you get two new weapons in this as well, which is pretty exciting. You've got the QBZ assault rifle, which is a full auto assault rifle, superior mobility with improved handling speeds, erratic initial recoil with less accurate hip fire spread. We'll get onto weapons in a little bit because there's some really cool stuff that you definitely want to know. And then you also have another SMG, which is the KSP 45, which looks a little bit like a Thompson to me, but I'm a real big fan of what they're doing with the progression in Cold War, and I'm just hoping that I've hit the nail on the head with that top left indicator going across both Black Ops and Warzone. Let me know if you think that's how it's going to work and if that's how it should work. Okay, next, let's talk about the weapons in Black Ops Cold War. And this is probably what I am most excited about, because I've been screaming for this to be added into the game for so long. And with Cold War, it has finally happened. So if we go into the gunsmith, you'll have this in Modern Warfare, but they've gone into so much more detail so you know how these weapons are actually going to work in game. So if we just go to, if we were changing our attachments, we can press the R2 button on the controller and we can see all the details for the weapon, like all those behind the scene numbers that normally we have to kind of go and shoot bots and figure it out for ourselves and kind of slow down timers to figure out the actual rate of fire. But now we have it all for us to look at, so we can see exactly what different attachments are going to do to the weapon. So for example, the vertical recoil is going to be 342J rather than 360. So we can see the actual impact of the weapon, so we can balance it to the numbers that we actually want. These are the behind the scene numbers that we normally don't get to see. So if we go down to the underbarrel, for example, we can see what each of these attachments is actually going to do. For example, like our sprinting move speed. With this gun, we're going to run at 10.26 miles per hour. If we use the patrol grip, we get an extra 5% and are going to go at 10.77 miles per hour. All this stuff is so ridiculously helpful. Like, we even get to see the reload speed. Like, look at it. Like, with the 40 round mag, it's a 2.9 second reload because we lose a 10% reduction using that compared to a default mag. But like, without that, if we go and have a look, you can get anywhere down to 2 seconds if you use the 40 round speed mag. Like, this information is so, I cannot tell you how useful this is. Like, the aiming speed, 270 milliseconds when you use the quick draw handle compared to 300 milliseconds without it. Now, these may seem like small margins, but when you're going up against top players, which with skill-based matchmaking seems to be happening a lot more. But it makes me extremely excited for when we get into Warzone as well, because it means that we're going to create some incredible loadouts and best class setups because we know exactly what each of these attachments is doing. But it's a small thing, but something that you should definitely be getting excited about. Next, I want to talk about settings because Black Ops Cold War is giving you some options that you have never ever had in Call of Duty before, which is incredibly exciting. First of all, let's head over to interface because for the first time, we are getting the ability to customize our HUD a little bit more than usual. For example, crosshairs. If you don't want them, you can turn them off. Now, personally, I would recommend having crosshairs on because it's really useful to center your targets with. But if you're trying to get like a screenshot for a thumbnail or just kind of trying to create some cool images, it could be something that's really useful to do. You can like turn everything off if you want to. However, hit marker visuals are really, really handy because this is a new feature that I think should have been in Call of Duty for a long time. You used to have it where when you got the killing blow, you'd get a red hit marker, but this has gone a step further and you'll get different colored indicators depending on the type of damage done. For example, if from a regular hit to a lethal streak to equipment, so you can react to actually what you've set up around you. For example, if you've set like a booby trap up with a proximity mine, you'll get a different type of indicator, which means that you can then turn around and know an enemy is there if you haven't got the kill. It's really, really useful. Also, health bars are being included in Cold War. You can turn those on or off. Personally, I have teammates off because I don't want as much stuff cluttering my HUD so I can see the potential of enemies rather than just like a health bar, which is pretty handy. However, enemy health bars incredibly useful just because you can then communicate to your teammates like he is one shot and you will know because that health bar will be pretty much empty rather than just hitting him once or twice like we all have done in Warzone and gone, I've broken his armor when you actually haven't. But really useful thing to be able to turn on and off once again. You can even abbreviate names, which is what I've started doing if you're playing with friends. So it's once again not taking up as much of the HUD and it just makes the game a little bit cleaner, which is really, really nice. Then you also can change your in-game alerts and all that sort of stuff, but really cool that you can now customize your interface. But we all know what everyone got most excited about, and it is the fact that Field of View is coming to console for the first time ever in Call of Duty history. It now doesn't matter what platform you play on, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, you can adjust your field of view completely to what suits you best. Now, this will, of course, impact your console's performance. So you could get a lower frame rate and some graphical issues if you've got it really high, for example, because it is bringing in a lot more information. So it is something to take into account. I personally play on around a 90. That's kind of works best for me. I see the majority of the stuff I need to, and it doesn't make the targets too small, but definitely go ahead and play around with that. It is awesome that they're adding it into the game. Now, with your controller settings, you'll be pretty much used to everything in this from previous Call of Duties, like your stick sensitivities, your sensitivity modifiers, like different button layouts. I will do a video when Black Ops Cold War fully comes out for the best optimized setup for Warzone and so on. But there are a couple I really want to point out on because it's really useful that they are adding these options into the game. Now, for example, you can adjust your airborne mantle and grounded mantle behavior, which is ridiculously helpful because there are so many situations where you accidentally do a jump over an object when you don't want to. Now you have the ability to customize this exactly how you want. Like having manual airborne mantle behavior is so useful and will allow you to get into some spots that you wouldn't be able to get if you had it on. So you've also got all of that sort of stuff. You can then have a bunch of advanced settings as well, changing your input threshold on your thumbsticks, which if you've got a brand new controller, you can drop this right down and you'll have a little bit more of a responsive thumbstick, which could be really helpful, though it does take some getting used to. So don't play around with it too much, but find what's sweet for you and stick with that. Also, you've got everything that you'll be used to. You'll probably notice G sliding and slide cancelling is fully in Black Ops Cold War. I'm still hoping that they nerf it properly because right now, if you nail it, it is ridiculous. So make sure that you have the ability to slide cancel as much as you can. Now, something else I'm really excited about returning with Black Ops Cold War. It was in the alpha as well, but you can see that theater mode is back in the bottom left corner, which means we're going to be able to go back and check out some of our best games. And also, I'm hoping, just like in Black Ops 2, we're going to have the ability to go and look at other people's games in theater. So if you have an incredible game, you can attach it to your profile. It's one of my favorite features back in Black Ops 2, but fingers crossed that is added. But it's awesome to see theater coming back into the game. As well as progression within the barracks, you've also got your player identity. So you can set your clan tag, your calling card, your emblem. There are 3 things that are still currently locked within the beta. So like your medals, your calling cards, and also you can go ahead and change your background image, which is pretty nice. But I'm excited about to see what they do with the combat record, and also, please, the return of weekly leaderboards. I am begging you. Now that is currently everything that you need to know about Black Ops Cold War in the beta. I'm sure Treyarch are going to be adding a load more stuff as we get closer to launch. I'm so excited to see how they do Warzone. Also, a big thank you to Plink as well for giving me the opportunity to give away that Xbox Series X. Drebin, I will be sending you a message on the app. Make sure to check it out if you haven't already. But let me know what you think down in the comments below about Black Ops Cold War so far. Subscribe if you're new, smash the like button, and I will see you next time.